Welcome to my channel. You answered. Now I'm here. I stared at the message on the phone, my heart pounding in my chest like a trapped bird. Outside, the wind howled, rain lashed against the windows, and thunder rumbled, shaking the very foundation of the house. I could feel the vibrations in the solace of my feet. It was the kind of night where the world itself seemed to be holding its breath, afraid to make a sound. I was alone in the house, or so I thought. The phone had been ringing just a few minutes ago, but now it was eerily silent. I told myself that it was just a prank, a cruel joke played by some bored teenagers. But as the seconds ticked by, an icy finger of fear began to creep up my spine. Who else would be out in this weather? Who would have known my number? And why were they taunting me? My eyes darted around the room, taking in the familiar surroundings, trying to convince myself that everything was fine. But the feeling of being watched, of something unseen lurking in the shadows, was growing stronger by the second. I couldn't shake off the image of that dark figure from the television screen. Had I really seen it, or was my imagination playing tricks on me? As the minutes dragged on, the storm outside reached its peak, and I found myself enveloped in a cocoon of fear. I tried calling out for help, but my voice caught in my throat. I wanted to run, to hide, but my body seemed paralyzed, trapped by an unseen force. Then I heard it. A noise that made my blood freeze in my veins. It was a slow, heavy breathing, like the sound of someone's breath fogging up in the cool night air. But it wasn't coming from outside. It was coming from inside the room. I could hear it getting louder, more pronounced with each passing second. I turned toward the closet, my heart pounding. The breathing seemed to be coming from there. Slowly, hesitantly, I approached it, my hand trembling as I reached out to open the door. As the closet door swung open, revealing the dark, dank space within, the breathing suddenly stopped. I peered inside, my eyes struggling to pierce the darkness. There was nothing there. I let out a shaky breath, my body trembling with a mixture of fear and relief. Maybe it was just my imagination, I thought. Maybe I had been so caught up in my own fear that I had created this monster in my mind. As I turned to leave, something glinted in the corner of my eye. I turned back and saw a single white feather lying on the floor. I bent down to pick it up, my fingers brushing against its soft, downy surface. It was a large feather, unlike any I had ever seen before. It was pristine, as if it had just come from the bird that had carried it aloft into the sky. I looked around the room again, searching for any sign of a bird, an owl perhaps, but found nothing. Where did this come from? I wondered, clutching the feather tightly in my hand. Its softness offered a strange comfort in the midst of my fear. Then I heard it again. The breathing, it was right outside the closet, just beyond my reach. Panic surged through me, and I stumbled back, knocking over a chair in the process. The breathing stopped again. As I stood frozen with fear, the closet door creaked open once more. I screamed and took a step back, my eyes wide with terror. Out stepped a tall, gaunt figure, its eyes glowing ominously in the darkness. Its long, bony fingers twitched, and I could have sworn I saw feathers drifting down around it, but it was gone before I could be sure. With trembling hands, I reached out to grab the doorknob, but it was too late. The door had vanished, leaving me trapped in the room with whatever or whoever had just appeared there. In the distance, I heard a voice, raspy and dry like the whisper of dead leaves. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "You answered," it rasped. "Now I'm here." And with that, the darkness around me exploded into a blinding white light.